we're getting live. Let's go pop this up. Okay, so, now all of the technology seems to be playing nice, and that's one of the things that I want to talk about. So, I was challenged this week to talk about something that is hard to talk about. It's very vulnerable. It's very not the kind of thing that in how we would say it back in the old days was. It's not the kind of thing you talk about in polite society, but it is about how hard, how challenging it is to be a small business owner. This is not new. Every generation of small business owner has its own challenges, has its own different issues that we have to deal with. In the 1800s, Sears and Roebuck catalog came out with their 500-page print catalog. In fact, Sears and Roebuck was the world's largest publisher up until, I think, the 1960s. So for over 100 years, the world's largest publisher was Sears and Roebuck. Not a book publisher, not a newspaper publisher, Sears and Roebuck catalog, okay? And when they came on scene, they completely served a very, very underserved communities. A lot of, in the United States, a lot of very rural people who maybe didn't have a lot of shopping options. Maybe they just had one mercantile in their town, and even what they could order that way was somewhat limited. And suddenly through Sears and Roebuck, you could get anything. You could order a new stove, you could order new shoes, you could order farming equipment, and you could order seed, and you could order clothes, and you could order furniture. And as they progressed, you could actually even order a whole entire house, prefabbed house kits that you could buy and have it shipped to you, and then you had to put it together. Some assembly required, right? And that was the way that the world shopped for a long time. And then as we moved into the late 1800s and transition into the early 1900s, we had department stores, multi-floor, 3, 4, 5, 6-floor tall buildings. We see those jokes with the old elevators where some elevator operator standing there, 3rd floor, ladies wear, 4th floor, men's suits and ties, And that was our world of shopping, and that was an in-person answer to Sears and Roebuck. So Sears and Roebuck built department stores. They built buildings, and they created department stores too, because that's what they needed to do to compete against these other people that were bringing that. And that was a culture. People used to go to the department stores, and they had restaurants in them, and that's where people will go to eat. That was an outing. That was a thing to do. I mean, we go to the mall. People nowadays, we do that too in our own ways. And then we transitioned again, and it became more about the shopping mall, right? The standalone department store downtown started being replaced by the shopping mall, which gave some of the smaller businesses an opportunity to gather up around the big department stores. And then it changed again. We had, and it just keeps changing. It keeps evolving. And then along comes Amazon, right? And other online shopping. Amazon is the most common one that we're familiar with. And in the business world, this is actually a phenomenon referred to as the Amazon effect. And you can research that. You can look that up on your own and read about the Amazon effect. And all of these things, you can't stop it. And when, as a small business, it's really easy for us to kind of get in this mindset, and then we're trying to figure out, how do we fight it? How do we fight against this? And the reality is you can't. You can't fight against it. You just have to figure out how you fit into this new landscape. And some of the points that I wanted to talk about on that is how that impacts small businesses like mine. You know, I'm currently 1,000 square feet of retail space, and it's just me and my amazing volunteers that come in and help me when I need help. But they're volunteers, they aren't here all the time, and they're wonderful and amazing, and I couldn't even do what I do without them. And please, Deborah, if you want to come visit my store, you should come visit my store, because I'm going to get into that a little bit. But small business is hard. And when we have people that are able to follow us online, and that's amazing, the tools that we have and how interconnected we are because of the internet. But it's hard. And I don't know if these are actual, I'm going to have some notes here. I don't know if these are actual hard statistical numbers or if they're more conversational numbers. But it's said that 1 in 10 people will attempt to be an entrepreneur. And that's a big, so that's big. And entrepreneur is vague. It's not always a shopkeeper. Sometimes these are work from home people or different things. 1 in 10. Out of those 1 in 10, 1 in 10 of those are going to fail. Okay, so if you've got 100 people, 10 of those people are going to try to be business owners. And of those 10 people, they're going to fail. There's going to be a lot of failure, right? And it's hard to do this. We can't do this without you guys. You guys can't get what you want and need without it. Which brings me to my next. The next thing I wanted to talk about is, and because this is a thing that's very real and it always has been, but it has become a much bigger thing here in the digital online world. And that is the difference between a consumer and a customer. And as a business owner, I have to look at my audience, and there are almost 10,000 people in my audience on YouTube. There are, I think, 1,500 in my audience on Facebook, another 600 or 800 or something on my Instagram. That's my audience. And of course, there's some overlap. There's some of you that follow me everywhere, and there's some that only follow me on 1 or 2. Plus my email list, right? And then those people who find me on my website, right? So I have an audience, and there are those people that are my consumer, and there are those people who are my customers. And understanding the difference between them and how I serve my consumer and how I serve my customer, because they're actually different pools of people. And then as a person myself, I look at my behavior and I think, where am I being a consumer and where am I being a customer? And you might say, well, what is the difference between a consumer and a customer, right? Because we often hear that term consumer marketing, and we hear this thing about customer is always right, and all kinds of different ways that those words are are thrown around in almost in a way that makes them seem interchangeable, but they're not. They're not. A consumer is someone who simply takes in your information. They're the people that take it in. They want something from you. They follow you. They watch your videos. In my industry, they watch my tutorials. They download my free patterns. They ask me questions about things. But they're not necessarily participating in the community that makes this place what it is. My customers are the people that participate in the store. They're buying yarn, they're buying patterns, they're coming to group activities, they're telling their friends, they're sharing posts and pictures and patterns, and they're sharing my YouTube tutorials with their people, and they're participating in the community that makes this store what it is. And which makes me a lot of times have to really think about, am I a consumer or am I a customer for any of the businesses that I interact with, that I participate with, that I think that I support, but am I actually supporting them? In a way that's beneficial for them so that they can still be there? Because the hard reality is that without customers, I cannot be a business. And I want to provide amazing value. I want to provide great content. I want to be your go-to person, your go-to yarn shop, your person that helps you with your crochet, that helps you pick the right yarn for baby's Afghan. I want to be that for you. But it's a commerce, which is different than economy. Commerce is a two-way street. And we have to work together. Customers and consumers and businesses. We all have to work together in order for that to work. Otherwise, your little shops on Main Street go away. You drive by, you think, oh, I got to stop there one of these days. And then, like a year later, I got to stop by there one of these days. And then you drive by another day and you're like, they're gone. Where did they go? They went home. That's where they went. It's where they went. I'm just kind of riffing here. I have some notes on some different things, and I've covered quite a bit of things. This isn't about shaming or guilting. It's just kind of, for me, a recognition of how commerce is changing for us and not fighting it. There's no sense in fighting it. You can't fight it. The thing is recognizing and trying to pay attention to how perfectly naughty fits into this new world and what that looks like and how I can work with that on my own without staff, but just with some occasional volunteer help and some contractors and stuff like that. I feel like I need to lift this up because that's just really kind of bugging me how low that is. And then you're seeing me fidget and fuss around over here because I'm trying to be in multiple places here. I've got my YouTube here, which that's actually kind of got me framed correctly. But then my Facebook is not got me framed correctly. Let's see if I can make a prop over here so that way I can feel like I'm looking at both places. Oh, that's better. Is that better? A little bit? Except for the lights over my head. Does it make me look like I have a halo? I have Horns holding. Um, so that's kind of where I'm at, you guys, for right now. You know, some of you know that last year I was really, really sick. Some of you might not know that. If you, and so I had to do a lot of really a lot of hard thinking last year about what was going to happen for this year. And I still, I mean, to be honest, I'm still have to make some decisions about what's going to happen for 2020, because while my health has improved, I'm not completely on the what I would call the healed and mended side. It does not. And I know I'm not the only person that has some kind of a thing in their life that makes it challenging. For some of us, it's health related. For some of us, it's family responsibilities and obligations. And when we're the only one run the store, if we're not here and the doors are locked, there's customers can't come. But if we're here so the customers can come, we're not available for our families. And trying to figure out ways to balance that and make that feel good and healthy for us as business owners and human beings, and how to make that feel good for our customers and our consumers. It's tough. It's really, really tough, you guys. So I do appreciate your support. Ask that, you know, even if you're not in the area and able to come into the store, if you see something, I ship things everywhere, by the way. But there are other ways that you can support, you know, share those videos, tell your friends, promote, you know, our posts on social media, tag us when you've made a thing. But, you know, at the end of the day, for you guys, as customers, as consumers, at the end of the day, are you getting value from the businesses that you participate with? And in my case, me. Am I providing value in your life? If I am, please tell me. Tell me what I did that was adding value to your life, to your stitching, to your project, so that I can understand what I need to do more of. If there are things that I could do, you know, that you would like me to teach about that would add value that I'm not currently doing. That feedback is going to help me be a better business owner serving my audience and my community. You guys are so important to me. Can't even tell you how many tears are shed in gratitude for my audience, for my customers, for my consumers. You guys get me out of bed, even when I don't feel like it, even when my body is hurting, and I'm running on empty. And but if you like small businesses in your community more than just to drive past on your way to the Walmart, or cute businesses to drive past on your way to the post office to pick up your Amazon package, yeah, that's not going to help those businesses stay there. You know, businesses are not here out of charity. We are here to pay our bills. For some of us, it's a living. For some of us, it's, you know, a hobby. And as long as the hobby isn't, you know, eating into our retirement, which is me. And that's not to guilt anybody. It's just to help make everybody aware that there are challenges for you guys as customers and consumers that you want solved. You want to learn how to do a thing. You want to learn how to improve, in my case, you want to learn how to improve your stitching skills. You want to learn about better how to use good yarn, and you want to learn this stuff, and you want to be better at what you do. You want to be encouraged and inspired. And from my side, I want to be able to pay the bills here at the shop, keep the rent paid. I want to be able to buy more amazing, beautiful yarn so that you have options and you have more choices. And that has to go both ways. It's reciprocal, right? you come shop here, and then I have the funds to go buy more beautiful yarn. And a lot of people don't realize, I think, how expensive it is to run a business. And it's a heck of a lot more work. I do not spend all day sitting around knitting and crocheting. I don't think, other than straightening the shelves, I haven't touched yarn all day. I've been editing pictures and working on the website because it's getting some updating, and there you go. I don't know what else to say. If you have any questions, I see lots of thumbs up going on over here on Facebook. I can't see comments or anything on my YouTube, but it looks like somebody's watching. But if you have comments, if you have questions, if you've got things you'd like me to talk about on this topic, I'd love to hear it. I do a lot of business coaching. If you are a small business, if you are a yarn shop, I do a lot of business coaching with other small businesses and encouraging people in that realm as well. If you're in Snohomish County, I do have a little mastermind group that I run to help encourage people. If you're another yarn shop and you happen to be watching, I have some things that different, that I talk about on that. And but we all have to work together. Marina, you're welcome. Thank you for watching, and I appreciate everybody's encouragement and understanding as we, as an entire global world community, as we all grow and change in how we do commerce. It's going to be ugly. It's going to be hard. It's going to be painful for the businesses. It's ugly and it's hard and it's painful for the consumers. And once we get to the other side of it, we're all going to go, oh my goodness, we survived that. Right? But in the process, it's hard, and it's hard to know what to do, and it's hard to know what to say. And it's, we just have to keep having that conversation and not being afraid of it. And, oh, thanks, Karen. Yeah, I think a lot of times we forget, that we're both, I'm both a consumer and a customer and a business owner. I do my shopping and I support some businesses, and you know what? Here's the thing: is that big business is important, because you know what? Let's be honest. Everything on my body is a result of big business. The device that I am, but all of the devices, my tablet, my phone, my computer, that's big business. The internet and the cell phone service that we're using to communicate and connect, it's big business. Small businesses do not exist without big business. So this is absolutely not an anti-big business at all. I'm a big supporter of big business. But a lot of big businesses also, what gets their product on the ground and to their customers is small businesses. And even Amazon, which is a big business, a vast majority of the sellers that you buy things from on Amazon are small businesses. I used to be an Amazon seller. Amazon takes too big of a percentage, and I was not making any money on it. They were getting more out of every sale than I got. So you should know that about Amazon, by the way. And a lot of your online selling platforms is that Amazon, for whatever price you're paying for the thing on Amazon, even if you're buying it from a private seller, Amazon is getting more of that percentage than the person actually selling it to you. Okay? And the postage that you pay, maybe you've got Prime, but the person actually selling it and shipping it may or may not be even having their postage rates covered. And it's kind of a loss leader for a lot of smaller sellers. So we have to be careful about that. And And so there you go. If it's in, yeah, yeah. Marina's also a solo in her yarn shop as well. Yeah. And so this is a topic I would be glad to talk about again. I've been on for longer than I had intended. I thought maybe 15, 20 minutes, and we're at 25. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up for today. Please share this with people. And, Patty, I don't know exactly what the percentage that Amazon takes now. I have not been an Amazon seller in about 3.5 years. But back then, yeah, it was a pretty big percentage that they kept. It might be different now. I don't know, and it might depend on what types of products that has to do with. But at least on the things that I was selling on Amazon, by the time all the transactions cleared out and everything, I might have on a $4 or $5 item, I might actually be ahead by $1 if I was lucky. So, like I said, that could be different now. Might depend on the types of products. Obviously, it depends on margin. If I paid a penny for this and I can sell it for 10, that's different than if I paid $4 for it and I sell it for 10. So there's a lot of variables in that have to be applied. But you feel free to Karen. My hours on tomorrow is Saturday for Labor Day, and I actually am going to be closed tomorrow. So I'm going to finish up my YouTube. I'll stay on Facebook for a minute. So thank you, YouTube, for watching and following. Please share this. Follow me on Facebook and Instagram, and you can sign up for my newsletter on the website perfectlynaughty.com. Don't forget to subscribe here to the YouTube channel as well. Thank you for that, and we'll talk another time on YouTube. Okay, Facebook, I'm ending that.